productive for you, you may want to go to here, Shield Nation, and under resources, you go to accountability and incentives, and we even organized it for you. Here's what we need to create a new person, getting someone started right. The first thing they need to do is create their list, okay? And so we got the memory jogger and the 5-star prospecting. We're going to talk about that today. Daily accountability. If you have trouble feeling good when you're making calls, get this call sheet out, and it shows you your productivity. So it's really important that you can actually keep it for the whole week to see if you're doing 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 calls a week. That is a great weekly call sheet, but you have it in front of you on a daily basis if you need to really build your disciplines. Then we're going to talk about the PDA today and the Wealth Builders tracking form. So you're welcome to go and print those out while I'm talking. So you're ready to kind of have it in front of you. So let's go back to the webinar. Okay, which button is that? That's this button. Okay. All right. So your schedule is your lifeline. First of all, we want to remind everybody that some people didn't understand pull versus push, but we want to pull. That means to say things that compel a person to want to know more. So we're intriguing, we're inviting, we're sharing, we're saying, we're working on, like Aaron talked about, he's working on things. He's working on, if he didn't get anybody to get an appointment, then that's okay, because at least he went to the activity, he's engaged, he's getting the cards, and he's not going to beat himself up. He's going to build his self-esteem on his work habits, not his results. All right, so, but to add to that is we have to refine in advance. We have to look at what we're saying. Once we leave that, be proud of the fact that we got our cards, we went to the event, those kind of things. Celebrate your wins, but also grow. Okay, so if you're not compelling a person to listen, you've got to find out, you got to talk to somebody, you got to make what I call talking points. So you listen to things people say, like right now when you talk about identity theft, are you saying exclusive? Are you saying the word exclusive, that we have the exclusive rights to the global leader in identity theft? Or are you just saying, yeah, we market an identity theft product? So the word exclusive added to that little statement is much more appealing, much more like, really? What is in global leader? The number, you know, the global leader, we have exclusive rights to the global leader in identity theft protection. We'd like to share with you something like that. So there's little tweaks that we have to work about. So then if you're actually working on how to compel a person, how to give a commercial, how to say something that makes someone want to know more, then they will pull open the door. They will pull open the seat to say, come down, tell me more. They will listen and invite you. And that's what you're really wanting on the pull versus push. We don't push things at them. We don't push them into the business. We don't push them into a membership. We compel them to want it. It's the opposite. So I just want to make sure we talk about that, because we're going to go through a little bit of how the scheduling actually helps you to have a victory in this area. All right, double time, part time, for full time, free time. We talked about regimented focus plus optimal timing, which is what we have right now. We have a 2 weeks ago. We were told we have an exclusive offering by a company named Kroll to go to the marketplace. We're the only ones that can offer it. That is awesome. That means you can go to all the people you're talking to say, you have the, I'd like to talk to you about offering an exclusive product from the global leader of identity theft and what it can do for your business, what it can do for you personally. But let's look below that. Normal hours plus normal focus plus normal intensity, no explosive growth. I wrote it really small. Okay, so no, nothing's happening. All right, that's not gonna help you have your grand opening. That's not gonna help you explode. This is what you want. I think everybody on this phone is getting up all over the country, and especially California folks, but you want explosive growth. So that means this regimented focus. That's the schedule. We're going to go into the schedule. The company and the newspapers and the, everything that the press and everything that's happening out there, from just the times that we're in for the need for legal care and the identity theft, that's optimal timing. All right, so we're going to just go here to this focus part. What are you doing? And are you, first of all, this I needed to bring out because sometimes people think they can have success with normal hours. And you know, John and I, we had a full-time job, full-time company, and so when we started, we had to put on top of this, on top of our company, on top of our 40-hour week, double-time, part-time, in order to be able to shut that company down. So if you want to get out of a job or out of a company or you want to double your income, you have to understand you got to go double-time, part-time. That double-time, part-time could be 3 to 5 years. All right, so you're going to double-time. In our case, to have shut down our other company was 8 months. We went double-time, part-time, so we put a full-time company on top of a full-time company so we could eventually shut the other one down and have the dream career that we wanted. All right, so what does being on schedule look like? It means having a regimented routine within a harvest season. We talked about harvest seasons. I'm going to bring that chart up. The way we lose time and energy is always thinking about where we have to go next. All right, instead of having a schedule, if we have a schedule, it'll eliminate that issue of where do we go next. So you're just working your schedule, and it provides a structured regimen that allows us to focus our energy. All right, so let's look at, I'm going to kind of take you out of here for a second, and where is, okay, that chart is gone now. All right, let's go to this. Here's the double time tracking for, we have been talking about tracking. You're going to get ready for your second harvest season. We just finished 3 weeks. We finished whatever that, from OKC until this Saturday will be the end of week 3 of 3 little harvest seasons. So we're going to throw this sheet away. You're going to total up, and I would imagine that these 3 weeks are going to be okay, maybe not exactly what you wanted, but here's the deal. You're getting ready for a second harvest season starting May 12th, which is this Sunday, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to every mother out there. So you're gonna start a new week. So here's May 12th week, and then the next week and the next week, and then we'll be done on June 1st, okay, with that second harvest season. 3 income-producing activities that we are studying. The number of presentations. These are the habits. Of course, you got to make the calls in order to get the presentations, but the number of presentations, the number of sales, and the number of recruits. That's it. Those are the 3 things. If we don't make presentation, we will not change a life. If we don't make a presentation, we won't have a sale, and if we don't make a presentation, we won't have a satisfied customer, and a satisfied customer is our #1 associate. All right, so it all starts with presentation. That is the key of the foundation of success, is seeing the people and telling the story. So we're going to work on how can we get more productivity out of your week. So first of all, this is your next upcoming mini harvest season. You can go to Shield Nation here, and you can go to right here, double time, part-time tracking board, so you can get that ready and commit to it for the next 3 weeks. If you're starting this today, if you had a bad 3 weeks, that's all right. You write your numbers down because you're going to compare them with your second 2 weeks, and that's what makes you feel good, because you say, wow, you're going to refine in advance like Aaron was talking about. He says, okay, I'm going to build self-esteem on my habits, not my results, because it is a law of success that if you continue to do the numbers, you will have success, period, end of story. You have to get better. You have to get better. If you're doing the same thing and you're not getting coached, that's a different story, and we're going to talk about that. All right, so we got the presentation set and recruits. That's this we use on a weekly basis. Going back to why do we plan a schedule? It allows us to. Oh, somebody's talking. You got to mute your phone, please. Okay, a schedule. Because you've thought through them all at once in a logical state. That means you're sitting ahead before your week. John, you want to say something?
Just let it go for a second. I'm going to see. Hey, guys, mute out your phone, whoever's got the background noise, before we call you out. Unbelievable. Come on. Otherwise, we got to mute everybody else out. So please mute out background noise. Thanks.
All right, so you take the thought process out of which activities you should or shouldn't be on, because in your calendar it says you've prearranged this, you set this up that from 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. on Mondays I have call time. So in that call time, you're not checking emails. You're not even taking calls that are coming in. You're strictly taking those 3 hours, setting it up, and you're calling out to set up your appointments for the week. So that is called call time. And so you don't have to think about what you should be doing in that activity because you've already scheduled it in your schedule. So once you're in a logical state, you're in a pre-planning state, rather than waiting into the moment. It's Monday, it's 9 o'clock, and somebody says, hey, you want to go out to Dunkin' Donuts, or you want to, or you should check your email, or you go get on Facebook and you see this really cool video on YouTube, and pretty soon you're off track. You didn't even commit to the 9 to 12. So you shut everything out and you look at your schedule, and that's what you do. You don't have to think about what you do because it's already in your schedule, and then you have to just follow it through. So you're not emotionally deciding whether or not you feel like taking certain actions. You have pre-committed in a logical state, in a state that you say, what is my why, where am I going, and how am I going to get there? That's your logical state. And then you're looking at a calendar, and this is the calendar you're going to be looking at. Let's get that out so you can see that. This one right here, your personal daily, this calendar, and you're going to be putting in, and we're how to fill that out. But this is the one that is going to rule your life. This is how you're going to live your life off of this sheet right here. All right, so let's go back. All right, this is the harvest seasons, and now let's go back to the beginning. First of all, like Brielle, I'm working with, she's my guinea pig, and she says, so it was having things written all over the place, and I said, stop, 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 everything's got to stop. You need to get the 5-star tracking system, and that means we call everybody with a 5-star or above, and you need to do the system the way the system works, because first of all, you can't teach what you don't know. You can't go where you haven't gone, and so you can't lead where you haven't gone. So if you're not using this, and then you have 5 new people on your team, and you want to show them this system, you want to show them you have 25 names on a list that you started with at least 4 pages filled out. You want to be the leader that you want to duplicate. So if this is a system that works and you're not using it, and then you recruit me, why would I use something you don't use? So first thing is I said stop everything. Take all your little pieces of paper and start all over. All right, so in the middle of her, right here, in probably her week 2, she started using the system. So she's the last 3 weeks of her mini season of those 3 weeks, probably halfway between week 3. Week 2, she started to get on the system. Week 3, she had a unbelievable week this week. She's going to share a little bit about that. So things were terrible week 1, getting a little bit better week 2. Now she's rocking it week 3. All right, so each week she changed a few things and got better and got better and got better. But it had to do with what she was doing for her, managing her time. So on this is the first thing I want y'all to do. Start all over. Do the right thing. Check every little box of the potential members. These are the potential associates. You'll have numbers here, the totals. You'll have 10s, 8s, 9s, 7s, 6s, 3s, 2s, 1s, whatever. You're going to call your 10s. So you don't have to think about who you're going to call first. You just go straight to your 10s. You go straight to your 9s. You go straight to your 8s, 5s. You go all the way down. So the highest number, whatever the highest number is, maybe you don't have any 10s. That's all right. Go to your 7s. If that's your highest number, that's your first call. Why are we doing this? Why do you go through this whole habit? Because if I have 100 people, and out of 100 people, the potential of talking to the top, the 30 people are 5s and above. 30 of my 100 are 5 and above. To go to the 30 and above, the 5 stars and above, and those 30 people versus going to the other 70 is going to be a 200% chance higher that they're going to buy a product or become an associate. It's very wise for the number of hours I have in a day to go to my highest potential prospect for the results of what my goal is, and that is to build explosive growth and to have market dominance. Okay, that's what I want. So if I'm going to the 2s and the 1s and they don't give me referrals, they don't own businesses, they don't have any desire to own a business themselves, so they couldn't become an associate, they really don't care about their identity, whatever, that's not wise. Okay, so we're looking at little refining your daily mentalities about how you do your day. And this is why it's double time, part-time in your daily life. And it starts with this particular sheet. So when you write the names down, you check them, and then you're very, very focused on who you call first. It's not spray and pray and just call it because that's the first person you put down on your list. No, we don't do it that way. We don't call the first person we put down on our list, but you put everybody that you can think about, because you use the memory jogger, down on your list, but then you prioritize, and then you go to your priority of this number, this total, this column right over here. That's how you're going to organize your first call, second call, third call, and so on. All right? So then we come to these two. These are on your desk every day. So you got your personal daily achievement, because this is your calendar. This is where you're going to put all your appointments and what's going on. And this is everyone you connect with. You write that person down right here. And then this now I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Let's look at this. If I make a phone call and I connect with someone and I write their name down and their phone number, and I had an intro call, today's May 10th, so I write 5-10 in there. So right here in intro call, 5-10. Now I say, you know, we have the purpose of the call is to get in front of them so they can see the videos, they can learn about our product. Maybe it's an insurance call. I don't know what the purpose of my call is, but I better know the purpose of why I'm calling. So I call that pre-purpose, or you pre-plan. Why am I calling this person? What is my win? What do I want to accomplish? Do I want an appointment? Do I want to get a referral? What am I doing? So you ask yourself, what is my win? What would it look like after I talk to this person that I could say, wow, that was awesome, I got a win. So you can have a couple different wins. You can have, they'll allow you to send them emails, and you can put them on the marketing and retention system. That would be a win. Okay, so if you can't get an appointment with them, I just did a refine and advance appointment yesterday with someone who's calling a bunch of people, a lot of intro calls, okay, to get an appointment. But a lot of people won't let them have an appointment. So I said, well, what are you doing with those? What if you had all of the I won't give you an appointment, so the appointment is a win? What if you could turn it into another win, and they could be put on a marketing and retention email campaign, and then you could have the prospecting of the email. And so let's say you had 100 people the emails went out to that would not let you have an appointment with them, but they would let you send them some information. And so you sent people information. What if 10 out of the 100 turned into a sale or a associate? Now, would that be increasing your productivity for the same phone call? The same phone call that's being made that the person thinks that their win is an appointment, I just coach them to say, what if you can get the non-appointments to commit to offer or opening it up to receiving emails? And they said yes. So now you got 2 potential wins on the same phone call. There's how that particular associate can double their production. But it took a little bit of coaching to find out what they're doing. See, I had to go in and look at what they're doing and say, all right, because the goal of everything you do is top performance, you want to build the highest momentum, highest productivity out of your actions that you possibly can. In order to do that, you have to really know your purpose behind your action. And I've been teaching Brielle, profits follow purpose. Profits follow purpose. If you don't know the purpose of the thing, of the action, of the call, and the purpose meaning what do I want to accomplish with this activity? What do I want out of this? What is my win? And so if you don't ask those questions, you kind of like, hey, you know, you call, make the call, and then you can't get the appointment. You hang the phone up, and you go to the next call, and you're doing a lot of stuff. But just by adding on the potential to add the marketing and retention system. So in this case, he could have a person that he talked to, had an intro call with, and didn't get the sit-down, did not get the appointment over here for a sit-down, so they went on the marketing and retention system. And then if that person calls back, we'll find out, wow, out of 100 calls, we got 10 sales. So we'll start to track that as well. So that's just an example of how you can increase your possibilities. We're always trying to increase our possibilities. If I have an intro call in 5:10 and I book a sit down for 5:12, all right, so now I go down to this sheet, and I would go, let's say, so today's 5:10, so 5:12 we'll say, well, I'll say 5:13. So Monday at 9 a.m. I would type in here like this. So I have my wealth building tracking form, and I type in Smith at 9 a.m. So I don't know what's going to happen. So this is, I'm back in Friday. Today's Friday, okay, and this is next Monday, and I've got an appointment at 9 a.m. with Smith. Now, I can write on here, this is person 1 on page 10. Let's say it's page 10, person 1, page 10. So I can go back to this PDA, and I can write Smith, person 1, page 10, person 1. So I can go to page 10 of my Wealth Builders Tracking Form, page 10, person 1, and it says, Mr. Smith, all my notes, what's gone on, did I send him the website, what did I do with them, so I'm ready for my sit down. So now if because you're talking to so many people, you're all over the place. So which is a great problem to have, but you just have to organize it. So now I go there. I know that when I go to the appointment, Smith is page 10, person 1. I go look at my notes, and then when I come out of the appointment, it's going to look like this, 35.95, and it's going to say 8 referrals. All right, so I'm going to put my results. All right, so there's my results, or I'm going to get an associate. Could be an associate. You could put that in there. Whatever happened from there. Maybe company referrals, but I got 8 referrals. I got a sale. I got an associate. Not bad for Mr. Smith. All right, so he's page 10, person 1. So you can do the page number first on your PDA. Page number first here, and on your to connect it with your wealth builder. So going back to this, you can see why the personal daily achievement. This is where I'm putting in my notes. And this is the person I'm talking to, and I'm tracking it because I have those page numbers. These 2 things are in front of me every day, all the time. They're with me. My building form is almost an inch thick. That's how thick it was, but that's okay because I can have 24 pages, 28 pages, 30 pages, 50 pages of wealth building tracking forms. That means 500 people I've talked to. If I have 50 pages, I have 500 people because there's 10 on each page. But it's totally organized. So I can go to page 47, person number 7. So I can go over here and I can say, oh, okay, I have an appointment on page 47, person number 7. So I go right to that person. I read it. I'm organized. I know what I'm doing. No problem. All right? So that's kind of, these are the 2 things that are in front of you that you're using all the time. So let's go into what you need to do to apply this to your next mini session. We got 3 weeks coming up. I want you to just work on certain goals each week, and this is what you're going to work on the next mini season, which is the next 3 weeks. First of all, top star prospects, your 5-star chart, start a new one if you haven't used this form. Just start all over. And again, that is this one. All right? That's his top star. That way you're prioritizing, you're organized, and you're doing something you can duplicate. Secondly, wealth builders track every connect or every exposure. So let's go back to that. Here we go. If I walk into Starbucks and I get somebody's card and I had a conversation with them, that is considered an intro. All right? I walk out to the car, I write their name down, I write their phone number down, I put them in my file that I had an intro call. Depending on what happens, I either have scheduled a sit down or I'm going to put them in the marketing retention system. I'm going to send them an email with the websites. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to track and write down, his background is he's working in pharmaceutical sales, he hates it, he's been looking for another job. He wants to own his own company. I write all those things. Do not leave it to memory. Everything is on one system. I don't have sticky notes everywhere. I don't have notes everywhere. So you should have your tracking form and these 2 things with you at all times. Your personal and daily achievement. We do 3-ring binders. So Brielle's got she's got 5 pages of this. So those are the next 5 weeks. She's got, tons of pages, a whole tab full of the Wealth Builders tracking form. And so she always has her 3-ring binder with her. So if she walks into Starbucks and walks out with 3 contacts, she's going to put them on this Wealth Builders tracking form. Those are 3 people she talked to today. That is a connect. You actually talked about the business. You actually had a purpose. Who do you know, or can I meet with you further, or something happened, an action happened. It wasn't like, hey, how you doing? Great, good, okay. That's not a connect. Okay, when I'm talking about, you actually talked about your business. You had a purposeful intent in that conversation to have a desired win out of the conversation, which would be, I would like to meet with you another time, and you're going to set that appointment up, or you did set that appointment up. I would like to send you some information, which is the weakest win of all, but it's still better than nothing, okay? I would like to, meet with you just personally and hear more about what you do, and maybe we could help each other out. That would be a win. Okay, there's a lot of different things that can happen, but you're putting it all on the same system. All right, so there's Wealth Builders. Now let's go to PDA to really help you. How do you set up your PDA? First, you fill in your weekly commitments. Let's go to our PDA. Here's an example of a PDA that has phone time. There's a weekly commitment for phone time. Here's a weekly commitment for a Bible study. You know that next Friday you have a haircut. All right, here's a school play for your kids. So those you fill in first. So that's the first thing. You go in and you fill in your weekly commitments, the things you know you have to do. So you're going to fill in those rocks. Let's call them the rocks, all right? Then, let me see if I can make this small here. Move this over so we can see both on the screen at the same time. Okay, just a second. All right, so here we are, back to this. And then the next thing is create a time for phone time. You can see that this person here has a phone time scheduled. I'm going to show you another one. Here's another example of one. Here's, they put in their big things, church, Bible study, date nights over here, all right? This person has phone time on Mondays from 10 till 12, 10 to 12, and the purpose of the phone time right here, the green phone time, is to book appointments for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday. So they're booking on Monday appointments for these 3 days. Then they have another phone time Thursday night. They're booking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, so those are 2 scheduled phone times. Those phone times, when somebody calls up and says, even if you have a person that wants an appointment, so let's say on Friday I'm talking to somebody, they want a 10 o'clock appointment, and you're going to say, I already have an appointment scheduled, because your appointment is phone time. This is a scheduled appointment with yourself. Now here on this side, you have emails, people that are very ineffective because they get sidetracked with emails, voicemails. This person here has put in from 8 o'clock until 8:30. Really, you don't need an hour for emails, but from 8 to 9, if you need an hour, you get up in the morning, maybe it should be at 7 if you're doing emails, and you answer everything from the previous night. And then over here, there's at 12 o'clock again, they check their voicemail and their email in these 2 days. There isn't a second these 3 days, so they might have to add another place that they check email and voicemail. On Monday, they check it at 8, and they check it at 12. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're checking it at 8, so they might have to build into their, because they have to get back with people. Now this is somebody who's doing a leadership training center over here. They have training days built into their system where they're training all their new associates that come in. So every Thursday and Friday they have 2 days from 9 till 12 that they're all the people they've recruited that whole week, and their team are coming in for these little training days. And I just want to even want to show you about how you do training. We have let me just show you. Let's see if it's up here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, this is the top 10 prospects for the Nashville Momentum Mastermind. See this? The #1 thing for a workshop is social media. So the #1, that's the biggest response. And the second was how to earn a full-time income on a part-time basis. So this webinar right here is telling you how to do that by filling in your blocks, and that would be for a full-time person that wants to work, that has a part-time schedule. Fill in all the hours that you work. Fill in all the hours that you're doing something with your kids, with your husband, with church. All that comes, and then look at how many hours you have left. And those hours you have left, that is double time, part-time. That is, you have to be spot on in those hours that you have left. If you want to change and get out of your present career, double your income, those kind of things, you've got to get organized on the times you do have left. So fill in those big rocks first. But I wanted to, the third most requested webinar or workshop for Nashville, how to get a new associate started right. So that tells me that people do not know how to get a new person started right, which is really, in putting our 2 days together of how we teach people, this is very entry level. This is people coming in. This is college. This is really anybody. We just did one of these yesterday with an insurance agent that is just so excited. Brielle signed up a new associate yesterday, and so that came in from placing an ad. She placed an ad here. See how on Fridays you placed ad. She booked an interview, so she booked the interviews, and then the person came in on the interview. Then we had a second interview with the person, and they got started, and so they went through kind of a training yesterday. But the main thing is, when you're training a new person, just to answer that question, belief in the product, going through all the videos, going through all the, I want to say 3 words to you, showing them that it's relevant, beneficial, and affordable. If you can show a new person that this product is relevant to everyday living, relevant. Don't use the lawsuit thing and all that stuff. Who gets sued? You know, that's just a small number of people. I want you to show the relevance to everyday living, and then the benefit, relevant, beneficial, and affordable. Those are the 3 things you accomplish. You build the belief in the product, the size of the company, the support of the company, the years of the attorneys, all that kind of stuff. So what happens? See how belief in the product is first, and then make a list is second. Once I have belief in the product and I see how relevant it is, and as we're teaching the belief in the product, those people are like, oh my gosh, I know somebody that just went through that. Oh, I know this. Or I know people with teenage drivers. Or I know, you know, and they're building their list. So then they want, the word want, to make a list, because you have built belief in a product. You have shown how it's relevant, beneficial, and affordable for everyone, and the need is out there. You've created that and established that, so now they want to make a list. See, this is kind of even in them wanting to know more about your business or wanting to know about your product. The same thing is in training. You want them, you don't say make a list. Okay, you signed your application, now make a list. That's not a good plan. All right, so belief in the product, because showing your new associates relevant, beneficial, and affordable for the masses, because then that's going to flow right over to them making a massive list. All right, see how step 1 and step 2, then they learn how to set an appointment, because what do they need to do? See the people tell the story. So right there, they're learning, this is learning how to set the appointment, and they leave our first day training, and they have to set their first 5 appointments. They come back to day training 2, and now they've got all these appointments, minimum 5, but they can go for more. You know, we have one person we work with that did 30 appointments in their first 10 days. Another person did 55 appointments in his first 10 days. And their first 10 days are kind of like coming out of a Thursday, Friday until the end of the next week. That's what we call their fast start. So that's setting first 5 appointments. So now you've got them doing activity. You're making a list. You're actually setting your first 5 appointments. By the end of your first day, after you've learned the value of the product, you've made the list on the right tracking form, the 5-star tracking form, and now you've learned, you've role-played how to set an appointment. Confidence is there. This is fun. You're high-fiving. It's great. They know how to set an appointment. They've got the script. It's easy, the help script. Off they go. They set their first 5 to 10 to 15 appointments, whatever their goal is for them, but minimum 5. So they come back into day training 1, and they've got all these appointments set. So let me tell you what they want to learn, and that is the presentation. They want to learn a presentation because they have all these booked. Look at, here's some book presentation. Here's Mr. Smith, Mr. Thompson, the Millers, the Edmonds. There's 4 appointments right there for this person. That could have been right out of the training day. So they want to learn that paperwork. And then here, this list of referrals, this is referrals for the business. This is what we do. We get a list of referrals on everybody they know that would be good for the business, but I want them going out to make presentations. I want them to go out and market memberships to get their first promotions. I don't want them sidetracked. We get the list of promotions. We call them. We book them for interviews, and they come in and they see the business. So this is a leadership training center, but this is how that works. And then these people are out there making all these presentations, but the yellow all the yellow, this is another thing I want to talk to you about. You can devise your own schedule. There's 2 different colors schemes here. You work with what's best for you. The green here was money-making stuff. That's phone time and chamber networking, phone time. That's money-making. That's what you're doing to produce your prospects. The orange is just committed things like my husband and I, date night, Bible study, church. Those are things I'm going to do that are personal, all right? So that I chose orange. The gray are just things that I just don't organize myself really well with. They're those things that you have to do, but you don't. I want to make an appointment with myself to do those in a structured way, so I'm not doing them all day. I'm not checking emails 10 times a day. I'm checking emails twice a day, okay, or once a day. All right, so if you're very disorganized, this is what you need to put in your schedule, your actual, when you check your email, when you check your voicemail. Then there's training. Trainings are all blue. There's trainings for the advanced training 1. There's an advanced training 2 here. The training days here. Here's the Shields Nation team call. That's a training call. So that's all set. You know, you can't be, you know, if you're committed to the 8 o'clock and the 8:30 call, you can't be making an appointment there. So you got to fill that in. And then let's see what else I have here. All right, so that's basically, and then the yellows were all the ones that I made an appointment and made a sale. Red was the one that said I made an appointment, but the X means no sale, but I did get 2 referrals out of the Lincolns here. The Millers over here, no sale, but 3 referrals, so there's still a win. So when you don't think you lost, when you can win. So there's a lot of ways you can win by asking them who they would know, or if you were me, what would, and you were marketing a product that's so relevant, beneficial, and affordable to the masses and helps people with everyday issues from the trivial to the traumatic, what would you do? Where would you go, and who would you talk to? And I can say that to the Millers. You know, just go right past them if they didn't buy. Okay, so the yellow is all the yeses. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a PBR. 7 people attended, 3 3595s, 2 associates. So the yellow to me is a presentation. A PBR is a presentation. Here's some more presentations over here, the yellows. And then the reds, of course, were presentations that didn't work. This one here, all insurance group, they didn't buy, but there was a win appointment with John Hoffman. So it was just the process. That was more of a process. There wasn't really, I didn't know what to color code that one. But there's an example of how a week could, where you put in your rocks and then you fill in your, and then when you're sitting there making your calls, you see all your open appointment times. So I can put in all this white here, I can add appointments. I can go out there and prospect more, and I can get on the phone and fill up those spots. So that's what personal daily achievement looks like. That's why you're working with these 2 sheets are working right next to your Wealth Builders tracking form, because if you make a connect, they're going on that sheet, and then they're going on your PDA sheet. And then the end of the PDA is track what happens at every appointment. So that's why you're looking at these examples here. I know that there was a $35.95 sale, and I know 5 referrals. All right. With this person, I can look at their PDA and I can see the entire week. And let's say they didn't have very many presentations. I can see where the phone time is or lack of phone time. So I can help somebody have a better, more productive business because they're using these systems. If they don't show me this wealth building tracking form, the number of people, because this is 1, 2, 3, this is intro calls. It'll say the day. It'll say 510, 510, 510, 510. And then I'll say 511, 511, and I'll know you just called 4 new people that day just by looking at your tracking form. So I'll know because the days follow one another and the sheets follow one another, so I'll see exactly how many you're actually calling in a day, and we might have to have a reality check and say, you're wanting to make your ring, you're wanting to get a $100,000 ring, and you're talking to 4 people a day? See, I can look at this sheet, and in 5 seconds I can help them reassess their business, and maybe they're wanting a $100,000 ring, but they don't have the reality of what it takes. So then we have a reality check. We have a talk about what it takes. Or on this one, they could be doing the intro call, and then the sit down is 3 weeks later. And then I'm going to talk to them about this little statement here: no longer than 48 hours between exposures. So I'm going to have to say, what are you making an intro call, and 3 weeks later is a sit down. And, you know, sometimes that happens, they're out of the country, whatever, but what you are looking for a contact and exposure and an action of some sort within 48 to 72 hours max. The next step, the next step, the next step. Okay, because you're a person, you're a purposeful, intentful person that's building a successful business in your local market, and that's what you need to do. That's the attitude you have to have. So let's go to the webinar, and that is it. Then start your new tracking board for the next 21 days. So let's open this up and talk about, you have any questions about the forms, you have any questions about how to apply double-time, part-time to your schedule. Let's just open up the call and share some different things that people have done that have succeeded for them in their scheduling.
Open up the lines.
I do have to say one more thing before we go. I want to just talk about Brielle. This, let's say Abe's cleaning. See this 1 o'clock right here, this 1 o'clock appointment? What Brielle is doing on the PDA, above on the top of the PDA, has PDA calls. That means how many times she calls me in a day. So here's Monday, and she's going into Abe's cleaning. Well, after the call for Monday, she better come up here and have called me after for sure. There better be a slash that she made a PDA call. If I see somebody with, in this case, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 appointments, and up here there's only 1 PDA call, that's not a good plan for that person, because in their first couple weeks, starting a new associate right, I don't want them to make 4 appointments and not talk to me. I want them to make 1 appointment, talk to me after that one, make the second, and then they're exponentially growing and succeeding for better success, better words, better. They're more. They know how to overcome an objection. But if they do 4 and they get 0 results in 4, what if they could have called me after the first one? We could have fixed a few things. They would have gone into the second one better. They call me after the second one, fixed a few things. These are like 3-minute PDA calls. This isn't like half-hour calls. These are like, okay, tell me what happened. Okay, I didn't get a sale. I didn't get referrals. Okay, tell me what you said. Tell me, we go through the whole thing. What did you do right? Okay, that's, you find out what they did right. You celebrate that. We improve the areas that they need to grow in, and then they go into the second appointment. You do PDA after the second appointment. They go into the third appointment that much better than the first and the second, and that's where you're growing. That's the tell me, show me, let me grow me program of our coaching system. But I also want to talk about when you go into certain accounts, like this guy here, the insurance group. Brielle called me. She was going to a mortgage broker. So I want to talk about pre-coaching and post-coaching. She called me before she went in, and I'm teaching her how to think like the prospect she's going in to present. And I ask questions like this. Okay, Brielle, you're going in to talk to a mortgage broker. Or was it a realtor? What was it? It was a mortgage broker. Okay. And what is their career like? First of all, you tell me. I want you to get out of the Legal Shield world. I want you to put on the shoes of a mortgage broker, and I want you to tell me what you know about their life. She's like, well, she didn't have a lot of answers. And I go, well, you're going to go present to someone. You don't even know what they're going through. You don't know what their life is like. You don't know what their high, low of their career is. How are you going to help them? First of all, you got to put their shoes on. Think like them. Get out of Legal Shield. Go into the person, the appointment you're going into. If it's an insurance group, if it's a business owner, whoever you're going into. Here's a print shop. She made a sale to a print shop this week. Okay, she went right in. She was awesome. 15 minutes application and out of there. Okay, so there you have it. There's Brielle. After 3 weeks of working this program and teaching you guys about getting coached, she now can walk into a print shop, follow her dollar concept, just come down, do the presentation because she's really good at the presentation and she's been coached along the way, and get a 15 minutes application. She's out of there with a bunch of referrals. And they are so excited. They went from, what is she going to be presenting us, to this really great attitude, this smile of hers is super, she understands the value because we're small business owners. She knows mom and dad and how they've used it. So she's going in there with, like, she's got an answer that they don't know that they're going to get for their lives, and they were so excited. But she got pre-coached on these appointments. So that was the idea of what are they thinking, what do you have to offer, what's in it for them to even listen to you. What do you have for them? Not pushing it at them, but really doing the concept of the compelling presentation, using words that fit for their lifestyle, that are attractive or may attract them to what we have to offer. And those things are exclusive product offerings, own your book of business, residual income. Mortgage people make a mortgage sale, and that's it. That's the end of that payment, and then they got to go get another one. So she understood her strategy better when she went in. So that's the other thing I want to talk about is profits follow purpose. Know the purpose of every appointment. What is your objective and what is your win? So let's open the call for some conversation.
Somebody had asked a question earlier. What is M&R? That's the Marketing and Retention Program on Shield Nation. That's the Marketing and Retention Program. So anytime you have a new member, a prospect, a candidate, whether it's somebody in your pipeline, someone you've sold, you can put them in the Marketing and Retention Program and have a complete system that will basically be your follow-up in respect to the benefits we offer the customers. So it does all the work for you. Just go to Shield Nation. You can even take a look at some of the letters and that type of stuff. David Hughes, we'll go out to you real quick. And David, share your little testimonial about last night's little strategy session on and call session that you had, if you would. And then whatever your question was, go ahead.
Well, basically, we got started last week. We committed to doing phone teams every Thursday night with some of the folks right in our local market. And we're using these forums, we're using these systems, working at developing a leadership training center. And our first night we did this, we set 12 appointments. We tracked numbers. Last week, or actually last night, we got the whiteboard out and we started having people, write their call times up there when they got something booked. And there were 2 associates, 2 new folks that weren't there the first time, and they were a little uncomfortable at first. I was a little nervous, wasn't seeing the calls happening. We're trying to figure out how to get them engaged, but we got a little bit of a competition going, and once they got rolling, we really couldn't stop them if we wanted to. So 12 turned into 17, and so Stephen and I have a lot of field training appointments we'll be running this weekend, and just continuing to refine and advance and build on these systems.
Yeah, that's just awesome. I mean, so last week, 12 appointments. You shared last night how a couple that you had there a little bit nervous, a little, uncomfortable, not sure what to do, a little, and so you introduce a competition, and once they get started, they realize that what is really uncomfortable becomes comfortable, and you guys end up setting 17 appointments, which is just awesome. Hey, that's great stuff, Dave. Congratulations to you and Steve Hale and the rest of the team. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Let me see here real quick. No, I'm drawing a blank. Bear with me. Oh, geez. Okay, hey, go ahead and put your hand up, guys, so that we can open up the lines. Let's go. Salone Jones, we can't call on you unless you guys dial in the access code and the PIN code. So you got to go through the, in the audio and telephone portion, you got to do it all. Otherwise, we can't even reach out to you because you're not in our audio link. Same thing, Daniel Webb. Same thing with you, big guy. You got to do the whole program.
Yeah, Brielle to share her attitude when she went in. She's had. Have you qualified already your first week for? Yeah. She's already qualified. Okay, so by the end of April, she was struggling to qualify for Players Club, right? Performance Club. Performance Club. And so we coach, worked on attitude, worked on the philosophy, and how her approach. She was. Oh, I'm just going to let her tell the story, but the bottom line is she's almost qualified for May and June already, her first week in May. So here's Brielle to talk about what I call crossing over. How did she go from one low productivity to a high productivity, and what changed in her attitude? Here's Brielle.
Hey, everyone. Like Aaron was talking about earlier, not being attached to the results, but being attached to the activity, I think is huge. And kind of just my whole attitude and just mindset about everything has really changed. I was kind of pushy at first because I was so focused on, I wanted them to see what I saw, but I didn't really help them. I didn't paint the picture as well as I could have, I guess. And so, and then I just wasn't good at closing at all. And so therefore I would follow up, and it just came across as pushing. So I think I honestly pushed some people away, but I realized that in my weak moments is where I gain strength in a sense, because I always get better. And so that's what I've learned to love no's. And at first I hated no's, but now I love them because now I just think, all right, well, I can get better. If I get better, then I'm going to get more sales, more families going to be protected. But the whole thing that's changed for me is I'm not going into, talking to a business or a family to sell them. I'm going in to serve them. And when I come across, with that mindset, with that heart, with that attitude, everything changes. And so this week I've had the opportunity to protect about 3 or 4 families already, and then got a new associate and stuff. And it's just exciting to see what's happening. And in the whole process, I'm myself. And that's the biggest thing is you can't offer anything but who you are as a person. And I'm just kind of a young girl who is just learning as I go, but I'm not going to try to be something that I'm not. And so that's my encouragement to you. Be who you are. Sincerely be interested in the benefit of the people and be there to serve them, not sell them. And we're going to make a huge difference, and we already are. So thank you so much.
Let me piggyback that just for a second. And I don't know, Brielle, you might want to just add to this. I don't know that I would call it pushy. Sometimes I call it needy. And, when you keep going back to them and keep going back to them, instead of being attached to the results, which you were attached to the results in the beginning, you become attached to the activity. And here's what I would encourage everybody to put in their notes. I've worked with Brooke Peterson on this. If Brooke's on the phone, she might want to share. I had a long talk with Brielle about this. I had a talk with another awesome young lady up in Minnesota, Jody, and this could fit a lot of you. If you don't respect your time, the people you're talking to won't respect your time. And so they'll just play you along like a fiddle. They're like, oh, yeah, let me go talk to so-and-so. Oh, yeah, I really like what I see. Why don't you get back to me in a couple of days? Oh, yeah. And bingo, a month goes by. And you keep following up, And, you are there. Your objective is to protect the family. And so you want to be fairly aggressive with the reason that you're there and what your objective is. I like what Brielle said. Continue to be who you are. You don't have to change any of that, but know that your time is valuable and you're there for a yes or no. You're not there to, get caught up in all the other stuff. There isn't a lot to think about it because we're not talking about a $1,000 economic buying decision. There isn't a lot to think about because you either want the value or you don't, and that's the purpose of the question. So I don't think it's too pushy sometimes. I think the more that you do get, maybe not pushy, but the more that you do respect your time, they're going to respect your time. Is that fair, Brielle?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's awesome, and I think needy was probably the right word. I was so bad for them to see what I saw, and they come across needy. So, but now it's like I'm so confident in who we are and what we do as a team and as, just Shield Nation and stuff and what's happening that my goal, I'm on a mission, and I think that's the biggest thing. We're on a mission to make sure that people know that this exists. I mean, I talked to a lady this past week, just quick story, who is trying to win custody of her child back, and she's had to run around with several attorneys who have treated her so bad. Matter of fact, one attorney said, you don't cough up $12,000 right now, you can kiss your son goodbye. And when she told me that, I thought to myself, I am so happy to be able to offer the products we offer, because what we are doing for people is providing that peace of mind and that protection that most don't have access to. And she called her friend later, who her friend called or messaged me on Facebook just to say thank you, but she called her friend later crying, thanking her friend for referring her to me, because she now is going to receive the protection that she's been desiring to receive and have someone go to bat for her on her behalf and her son's behalf. So we're on a great mission.
Wow, see, guys, that's what happens on the other end. If the 40,000 people that called Legal Shield provider law firms last week, if the 40,000 calls that came in, if we didn't exist, how many other people would have had a comment like that from a rogue, out of control, abusive law firm that says, if you don't cough up $12,000 right now, you can kiss your son goodbye? That just, oh my gosh, I hope that gets everybody more jacked up than ever. I see that we got Brooke real quick. any thoughts to the comments Brielle just made and just some of the things you and I have been through?
Yeah, thanks
Brooke
so much,
Peterson.
Mr. Hoffman. Yep, can you hear me?
Yep, you bet. Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Hoffman. And I don't really need to reiterate. Brielle, I think, said it very articulate, was very articulate in exactly the things that I have been experiencing, some of the people on my team have been experiencing. And John's just been so encouraging that, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but you kind of said that nice people finish last. And I think what you meant by that is not that we're not kind or caring about people, but we know what other people don't know. And so it's just a matter, like Brielle said, of painting that picture. And real quick, Darcy, I have a question for you referring to the Wealth Builders tracking form. And in the last 3 weeks, my goal has just been tracking how many calls I'm making, just getting back to the basics. And so I've had a goal of a certain amount of calls per day. This week was just 40 calls a day, just making sure I get a minimum of 40 calls per day. And since doing that, the last 3 weeks, my appointments, a lot on the B2B side, have tripled. So I'm just looking at it now, each week my appointments have tripled from just tracking my phone calls alone. And so now I know that going forward, just refining with the referral side, refining with this Wealth Builder tracking form. So my question real quick is, so say that you do 40 new calls a day, 40 to new prospects. Are you putting each call that I make down on that Wealth Builders tracking form?
No, that would be the phone chart. I don't even have that up there. That's the phone call tracking. What this is when they go on the tracking form, that means you have had an exposure. You've had a conversation that they are interested, and it's the next step. So you're either interested in getting emails, interested in a sit-down. So you had the intro call here, and there's a next step. So I don't even put them on, when I make the call, unless I have a conversation and it has an appointment attached to it. If it has a conversation and an appointment, then their name goes down there. Now they're in the process. If I get a call and they're like not interested, hang up, they obviously don't go on my Wealth Builders tracking form. That's just a call that had nothing to it. Okay, but if that call turns into I'm not interested, but you can send me something, okay, that would go on here, because then I have to know who I set the marketing retention system to. I have to know, what their background is, and just say so. And I try to get as much information as possible. And so if they're, depending on their background, to send them something, and then stop by and say, I'm Brooke, I called you on the phone, and you could stop by then. And then you go to that person and you look at everybody who had an M&R and nothing else. And maybe you'll call them in a month and just say, you've been getting our marketing retention. Then you can follow up, and then you might get a sit down. See, but then you have it organized. You have the people that you were just M&R. You have the people that you called on today, and then you got a sit-down appointment with them next week. So you don't write the sit-down appointment exactly until you actually have it. So what you would have is you'd have the intro call here, and then you'd have their background and details and hot buttons, whatever going on here, and then you'd go to the PDA, and that's where you would put in the appointment for the sit-down would be, let's say it's this guy here, Smith, at 9 o'clock. And then when you actually have the sit-down is when you write that down here. You write down the sit-down. Or you can write down the time, 12 or 5:13, and then when it actually happens, highlight it in yellow, so you can look at the number of sit-downs you have scheduled, the ones that actually happen. But I don't know if I'm answering your question, but not every call goes on the Wealth Builders. No, that's the phone tracking one where you go ///. And when you get an appointment, if you get an appointment or you have a contact or a conversation with a next step, something they're interested, you're going to, and you want them in the pipeline now, that would go on the Wealth Builders tracking form.
Hey, Brooke.
Okay.
Brooke, the other thing here, too, is just for everybody listening in, understand, too, an average of 4 exposures is what you really want to consider during the recruiting process, certainly less than marketing a membership. So this is the start of what you have in your pipeline. And what you have in your pipeline, Brooke, I might make the introductory call to you, and I need your help or something important I'd like to show you. You know, whatever my setting the appointment might look like, I might forward you a link. I'm going to forward you a link with some information on our product, you know, how our provider law firms work before we have our meeting tomorrow. So I've got Brooke Peterson phone number. The intro call, I put the date in today. I put the time I forwarded the link to you in today, which is, or the date I mean, and then I've got an appointment with you tomorrow for the consumer folder presentation. So that's when that goes into the Wealth Builders tracking form. You're in my pipeline. You've got one exposure. My goal is to certainly protect you with the membership and get your help in respect to us expanding the opportunity. So the quicker you move through the exposures, the quicker you get a yes or no on the opportunity, and you certainly need a heck of a lot less exposures when you're just protecting a family with a membership. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Marv Worthy, we'll go out to Marv Worthy in Pennsylvania.
Yes, John. I just want to comment on the wealth building tracking sheet, top star prospect sheet. Since I've implemented that, I think last time I was introduced to it, I said I'm going to start to do this immediately. And I can tell you this, the results have been very telling. One, in that I was able to qualify for Performance Club before the 15th, which is the first time I've done that in a while, because I'm able to understand. I'm so clear now how to use this process, and even more clear after today. And now I know how to use more clearly the PDA, and so I'm just excited. I talked to about 14 people, got 6 memberships and 1 associate. I'm more organized. I was the unorganized guy that had stuff everywhere, and now I got it organized in a way that I understand it, and it's making such a significant difference in my stress level, the ability to manage the time that I have and be laser focused. It's amazing. I wasn't able to make the call last week, but because the calls are archived, the webinars are archived, I was able to go back and get all of that wonderful information. So I'm just flat out excited again. I'm focused, I'm organized, I'm excited about this whole thing. And so I just want to say thank you so much for all that you and Darcy do, and it's making a tremendous impact on my business immediately. And so I just want to say thank you.
John, I want to say something to Marv right now. Marv, you just said you can let go of the worry and stress if you create a well-designed schedule and use these forms and this organization. Plus, I want to just encourage you, Marv, if whatever you do, you can duplicate. So imagine the fact that 14 appointments, I think you said, and 6 new memberships and an associate. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, that is so fantastic. Now, knowing, you know, how to start a new associate with the idea of, like, even the things I was showing you here of belief in the product, then once they understand it's relevant, beneficial, and affordable to everybody, then they want to make a list, versus have to, or are pushed into it. See, it's just our philosophy. And so then you're starting a person and you're showing them your 3-ring binder. You're showing them your PDA. You're showing them your track. Look at what I did. Okay, this is my prospecting thing. And you're going to show them your your PDA and your Wealth Builders tracking form, and then they're going to get it because you're using it. And you're going to say, I'm telling you, I doubled my production because I was organized, and I want you to start right into this so you can go have greater success than I did because it took me a while to get organized. So let's just start you right, and that way you can start your people right. But I'm excited because now that you're doing it, you will get rewarded with the ability to duplicate, and that's where wealth is in the duplication process. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
John Hoffman, can you guys hear me again?
Aaron, just in 1 second, real quick. Trish, I've got a couple of questions that have come up on the dashboard here. People would like to know where they can get the forms. I believe all the forms, they can go straight to Shield Nation. Would you just give everybody directions on how they can get the forms?
You go to Resources on Shield Nation, and you go down to Accountability. So Shield Nation, or the Resource tab, go down to Accountability, click there, and you'll see it in a second here. It'll all come up. But there they are. There's the 5-star prospecting sheet, the PDA. Here's the phone call thing that, this is Brooke, you were talking about that one. That's the phone call that you use for when you're booking, you're just trying to do 50 a day or 40 a day. If you want that, that's what you use. That's what you use for that. So this is 10, 10, 10, 10, so there's your 40 calls, and if you filled them in, out of 40 calls, you're going to get maybe 5 appointments. Those 5 appointments go in your Wealth Builders tracking form. But your 40 calls, you can log them to see the activity, to compliment yourself, to say, I'm doing it. I'm doing this thing, and it will pay off. Because you're building your self-esteem and your habits. So that's what you would be doing for that, Brooke. That's the sheet I was talking about.
And hey, just a quick note, please, for everybody. Aaron, I'll come to you. Just give me a minute. On the Shield Nation site, also, there's a comment section. So we'd love it if you guys would go there and comment. Comment to how the forums are working, comment to the webinars, but just go and put your comment on there. Also, if you haven't done so, go to the Shield Nation Facebook and be sure you hit the like button on the postcard that we have for Nashville, so we can start getting that information out just from a social media perspective. Since social media is such a critical aspect of everybody's interests, let's this organization and others start practicing on how social media can become an impact player for you, an asset, a resource for you when it comes to building your business. So go to Facebook, hit like so that it comes to your wall, and you can see that whole Nashville postcard with the Amelia's, the Shield Nation organization, and all the fun that's going to be happening August 1st through the 4th. So, Trish, did I say all that right? Okay. Hopefully I did. Aaron Gonzalez, let's go out to you.
Sounded good to me, John.
Yeah, I mean, I sounded pretty good. I even convinced myself that the wall and all that was probably the right stuff, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there, and that is important, guys. That we use social media. It's huge, and if you remember at conference, Alan Furley kind of hinted that that's the next phase of where we're going. So why wait on him? Let's get ahead of the curve, because we got the awesome Trish, setting all this stuff up with the blogs and all that. So let's take advantage of that and get Shield Nation ahead like we always are. But what I wanted to comment on was the tracking. I agree with Marv, because I was the same way, and I've been doing this a long time, guys. And now that I moved out here on the East Coast, I'm developing and building a new people on the East where I can reach out and touch them locally, just like I did on the West. But I still have those on the West. So because of these forms and because of a free service called join.me, I'm able to get a new associate or an old associate, because this is all new stuff for a lot of us that have been around for a while, like Marv, like myself. I'm able to get them online, show them these forms, set them up a Dropbox, drop them in the box, and not only drop them in the box so they can have them, but I can show them through Join Me what Shield Nation looks like, where these links are, what Premier Solution looks like, what Legal Shield. I can show everything as though they're right sitting next to me, because we're screen sharing with Join.me. And we're Dropboxing to drop files in, drop videos in. I can speed up someone's process of learning by using the technology. And because of this new system, now I'm relearning how to use these forms. I'm really excited, because we had 16, 17 people at conference that kind of got the deer in the headlight syndrome, because it was so much coming out of conference. But we can pull them all back in, reel them all back in, show them these forms, how to keep track. And because of that, Luana, she's sold like 3 memberships right out. She's part-time, full-time real estate, part-time Legal Shield. And I have Salone Jones on the other line. She's really taking this information, and she's in Savannah, Georgia. I'm in North Carolina. We're using technology. We're using the systems. And Salone wanted to say something, Mr. Hoffman, but she couldn't because of her technology, so I got her on a 3-way. So, Salone, are you there?
Yes, yes. I just wanted to ask, I'm really wanting to master these forms, and I'm doing them right now digitally, but I keep hearing people talk about the folders. And so I wanted to see if Mrs. Hoffman thought the folder is more effective than keeping track digitally, like on my computer? Is one way better than the other? Because if so, I'll choose that way.
Now, what is your question?
I'm using the forms, but I'm just keeping it all on my computer, like digitally. I'm inputting information versus carrying a paper sheets. So I'm just wondering if one way is better than the other as far as keeping track.
The way that is best is the way that can duplicate. That is my answer. So if you are tech savvy and I am not, and you recruit me, how are you going to, if you can teach me what you did without teaching me tech savvy stuff, and you can print the forms out and show me what you're doing, and if you're on this and you can just plug in the name and type it in and everything, and that works for you, and you can get to page 1 however you do that, that's fine for you. But if it's not fine for me, that's the key. So what you do, is it duplicatable? And if it's not, stop doing it. So that would be my answer, okay, as a blanket statement for building wealth, which is duplication. So you have to ask yourself, can anybody do what you are doing? And if the answer is yes, then you're okay.
Thank you.
So it doesn't matter if it's online or not, but can anybody do what you're doing? And that's why I always print them out, and that way they're with me in the car. Some people don't have laptops in the car. If you can do it, you younger people, tech savvy, awesome. As long as when you meet somebody like me that likes paper, and even Jill, who did the webinar last week, she hates the online thing, and she's 21, so she likes all the paper. So she's her business that she was taught under, they use paper. They don't use the techie stuff. They want people touching it, seeing it. You can't fax me. I don't. Well, yeah, you can fax me your email and things like that, but it's mainly about anybody can do it, and everybody can do it, and it's duplicatable. That is what you're really after. That's why I said to Marv, awesome, you're doing it. Now you can duplicate it. And then that person that he gets started is not going to have sticky notes all over the place and little pieces of paper all over the place. They're going to be very organized. But I know, Sloan, you're very organized. You got a lot of experience in the tech-savvy world, and it works for you. That's not the question, whether anything works for you. So if I'm a great presenter and I'm Mr. Smooth like John Hoffman, I can get up there, but I can't duplicate John Hoffman, okay, that's not good. We want something we can duplicate, which is what Legal Shield brought us, the tools, the videos. We can do a consumer folder, do up to the for pennies a day, and then we play the, we just did the first page up to the statement for pennies a day. What kind of attorney do you get for pennies a day? Well, let's see, and then we go play the lawyer firm video. And then that shows, and then we go right from there, the video, into the bottom, which is have you ever, and just say, can you imagine with attorneys like that? Have you ever had these kind of issues happen in your life, and you can have access to those kind of attorneys? Let's check which, one of these things that you've had happen to you. And then they kind of go through the have you ever, and so then we do the 4 questions, 4 benefits, and then we end with how the membership works, and that's been simple. Everybody can do it, and it's duplicatable. But that's the question in your mind. Are you duplicatable?
Thank you for that.
Great.
I'll make sure to keep it there.
Okay.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. And my last comment, we're certainly 10 over from the hour, so we're going to wrap it up. If another big thanks to just Brooke Peterson for the writing of the blogs. Listen, every one of you guys are leaders, you're CEOs of your business. If you come across any information that would be valuable third-party wise for Brooke, just send it to Trish, agent@premiersolutionsintl.com. We'll forward it up to Brooke for anything that we can put to the blog. There was $45 million drained from some bank accounts. I can't remember what country it was in, all because of some spyware, some malware, and a couple of other things, all in about a half an hour to hour's time from this malicious malware that was put in place. It's just unbelievable. Quickly, legal, they're just coming on the books affecting.
John, it's support at Premier Solutions, INTL.
Okay. We got Trish anywhere?
Yeah, Trish is right here.
Okay. All right, good deal. All right, perfect. All right, thanks to Brooke and Trish and Darcy, great webinar, and we're going to wrap it up, guys. Everybody have an amazing Mother's Day weekend. Happy Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. What an amazing...
Hey, John, wait. We have a question that was sent in about 10 times. What is the question? Richard, do you have a question out there?
Yes, Mrs. Hoffman, this is Richard Long in Chandler. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I just had a question about the consumer folder. When going in to present to a small business, are you using the same consumer folder, the personal presentations, or how's that working?
Yep, Brielle, she just closed a print shop, so Brielle, what did you use?
I just used the consumer folder and just walked them through the entire presentation just like I would do with a family, and they got it super quickly. I just relate to specific questions to them as a business owner. So.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out, guys. Brielle, there's more to the story than this. Richard, Brielle looked at the account that she had in the print shop she went into. They had one employee, and so we decided that the best thing to do would be get the family protected first. So it just depends what your mission is, what your objective is. If you're going into a business owner to market the small business plan and they got 25 employees and you're starting with the small business plan, then you don't work with the consumer folder. So you understand, there's more to it than just walking in with a consumer folder.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I understand that definitely. Qualifying it before you go in. I was just wondering, like once you qualify. So basically, if the small business does not have has 4 employees or less or 3 employees or less, more like just going to work on the family plan, and then the other, if they have more, then go from there. Let's say that it doesn't. Let's say that they have maybe up to 10 employees, but I mean, there's kind of like a middle area, but I guess you just have to qualify that before you go in there.
Yeah, you got to just qualify it. I mean, when Brielle went to the print shop, they're not a big revenue-making machine. They're kind of a mom and pop, and so one employee. So starting with the family plan is the most important thing, because the family plan will do so much for them and their business interests. If it's 10 employees, I'm probably going to sit down with the business owner and show them maybe the family plan and the home-based business rider and attach that to it. If it's a business owner that has, maybe 15, 20 employees or even 10 employees, I'm probably going to show them the business plan, but I'm immediately going to come to the consumer folder for the family plan, because you never protect the business without protecting the family. And bingo, it's that value and benefit that leads you to the employee presentation for a possible enrollment, because every business owner would love to increase productivity and decrease absenteeism, because we remove stress in employees' lives. So, that it's a fairly loaded question there. It's a fairly simple process, but, I guess like the government says, get to know your customer.
Yes, sir. That makes a lot of sense. And then thank you so much. And I just had one more comment about the webinars and the forums and the training and double time, part time. When I been in a couple of years, been inconsistent just because and it actually was creating kind of insecurities in my relationship and my marriage. And this has been just the last 3 weeks has been to a month has been just a total overhaul, not just with my business, but with the rest of my life, and just pretty much changed everything. I don't know where all the energy has come from right now, but I've been like just really double time, full time right now, and I'm just so grateful for your leadership, for your integrity and quality, for the whole thing about respecting your time and not being needy so that other people will as well. I mean, every single time I'm on this webinar, I find not just one tool or one nugget, but nugget after nugget after nugget that has just propelled us. So I'm really, really, really excited. We started our training center out here, and first guy I sent got started, and he's already set his 5 appointments. We're going today, and we're going to go do the presentation. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you bet, Richard. Well, we appreciate it. That's great to hear. Persistency and consistency is what leads to long-term growth. And, hey, Brielle, just quickly share the result. I didn't mean to interject too fast there because I know there was just a lot more to that story. But because you knew your customer, what was the end result?
Before I give it to Brielle, I just want to explain this on the screen right now. You can go to your chamber of population of your whole area, the number of households, the teenage drivers. I did this age and the number of businesses that have 1 to 99 employees. So she has this on the 3-ring binder when she goes in and makes a presentation, and she says, I am on a mission. She uses those words. This is the population. 3% of the people know about this service. This is how many, 300,000 homes that are being mistreated and have insurance companies not paying them. Obviously, you don't say that to an insurance agency. But you explain the problem, teenage drivers, and here's the business owners. So the business owners, even the $35.95 is the beginning, and then you can bump them up and do the add-ons. But this is what she has in the front of her. This is what's driving her. This is what puts her on a mission to go in there and make a difference in her area based on these numbers. So go to your chamber, pull down these numbers, take a picture of your area, and then put this. So you're literally on a mission. So here's Brielle.
And real quick, on the whole need thing, I unapologetically ask for referrals, and I show the need first. And I am very just confident in the fact that I have a mission to reach as many people as possible and that they can help. And so referrals, I've learned, are seriously the lifeline of success in this business as well as presentations. And I love getting referrals. They're the best. But what happened with the print shop was, at first they're kind of like, what's this all about? And by the end, they were just nodding their heads, super excited, let's go, let's get started. So I ended up protecting a family and getting them identity theft protection and the legal plan. So it was great, and they're very blessed now.
Fantastic. Thanks. Hey, thanks, Brielle. One other thing, guys, if you're not using the targeted calls, you can see that in your back office of your website. I would encourage you to do so. They have a new call they've just listed with mothers. The last call we had was with attorneys, and when it comes to your wealth builders tracking form, these targeted calls, to targeted audiences is very, very strong. I know we had a couple of attorneys in the pipeline that went in and listened to, the Legal Shield call that was hosted by Legal Shield associates whose backgrounds are attorneys. So if you're not using it, I would encourage you to do so because there's some good stuff back there. All right, Darcy, great job. Happy Mother's Day again to absolutely all the moms out there. How amazing you moms all are. Have a great weekend, guys. And remember, we're almost 2 weeks into the month of May as we build into the summer. Be blessed. Have a great day.